Alright guys, we have the new Imagine round versus Jogo, so let me quickly show you how to get all of the rewards in this SP battle. Now the gameplay I'm going to show you is going to be for getting all 30 points, but obviously the rewards actually stop at 28, and in fact all of the good rewards is kind of just stopping at 25 as well. So if your characters are not quite as strong as mine, not as highly duped or max potential, etc., then just untick some of the max HP one and just do the best and see how much reward you can actually get. Okay. Now, in terms of the debuff you'll be picking, obviously I have picked all of the 30 because that's my gameplay. If you're only trying to do 28 or 25, then just remove the max HP one. Those are normally the ones which are most annoying. The other one you can also potentially remove would be the ones like decreasing ult gauge, fill rate, and also curse energy. Okay, that's pretty much those six. So the full HP, the curse energy, the ult gain, and also maybe this reflection one. Like that seven is pretty much the most annoying ones. So depending on kind of how your team plays out, you can definitely untick some of those debuff to make sure you still get all the good rewards. Okay. Now, as for the first six that you are forced to choose, for number one, pick the first option. Number two, pick the first option. Number three, pick the first option. Number four, pick the second option, so decreasing curse energy. Number five, pick the first option again. Number six, pick the first option. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the handicap you're going to choose. Now, the team I'm going to use is going to be mono yellow using curse energy and also debuffers. So that's kind of the reasoning of why I use all of those handicap that I picked earlier. Now, one thing to know, by the way, you do actually get some nice reward like cubes when you actually basically go through all of the different criteria. But obviously, you only have to do one run at 25, 28, 30 to get all of the rewards. So when you're doing a second run using a slightly weaker team, you can basically just untick everything, and that's basically just to make sure you have one round to get the max score, so get all of the rewards here, and then all of your subsequent runs that are going to be a lot easier, and that can allow you to pick up the other random cube missions as well. Okay. So, back onto the team. So this is going to be the team, mono yellow team, using Team Gojo as kind of the main DPS. However, in all honesty, it's a bit of a stalling team because what's going to happen is that you will be using Junpei skill 1 vast majority of the time, and also your Team Gojo is actually just going to be spamming his skill 3 instead, which once again decreases the enemy dealt, and that basically allows you to survive. Now, the only time you will switch up since is going to be when you actually charge up domain on your Megumi, and in fact Megumi can actually get to 3 domain expansion in this battle, and you kind of basically just need to plan accordingly. Okay, and basically what you want to do is that 4 turns before your starting from the turn when your domain Megumi is actually going to use his ult, that's kind of when you then need to change up your skill slightly. So for your yellow Yaga, that basically means you now actually need to use your skill 3 because this actually then apply that debuff. And then for Junpei, what this also means is that you can then also use your skill 3, which by the way you need SP potential unlock, but basically this will also further increase debuff. Okay, so remember all of them last for 4 turns, so that's kind of what you time it so that you only start using those moves when domain Megumi actually doing his domain expansion. Now every now and then I might switch up because for example the enemy is about to use his ult, in which case I would want to reduce some of my damage taken, then I might still do a skill 1 for the first 1 or 2 turns before then switching back onto your skill 3. Okay, that's more down to exactly what the enemy is doing at that time, so you just need to learn to adapt accordingly. But the main idea is that vast majority of the time you'll be stalling by using skill 1 from Junpei and also skill 3 from Team Gojo. However, once domain expansion have his domain ready, then you switch all of them to those damage dealing debuff effect instead. For all those, your domain Gojo will still be using his skill 3, by the way. There's no need for you to switch on to his skill 2 because one of the handicap you would have chosen would be reducing off your buff effect by 90%. So there's no need for your Team Gojo to self buff. That's kind of why your whole team is more like debuff focus, and that's kind of why there's no need for you to switch back on your skill 2. Your Team Gojo is literally just going to be using skill 3 all the time until when the debuff have been fully staffed from domain Megumi's domain expansion, in which case you will do a combo ult between Team Gojo and also Junpei. Okay, so that's kind of the main idea. Now, in terms of recollection for Team Gojo, it doesn't really matter because in all honesty, the buff you'll be getting from the recollection is going to be severely reduced. So this one doesn't really matter too much, to be honest. I'll just use the free pride here. For domain Megumi, you would use this one in order to rush up your ult as fast as possible, so that you can do exactly 3 domain expansion in this battle. Then for your Yellow Yaga, you'll be using Healing Reflection. I use this one because there's also a bit of passive effect to increase curse energy, which can basically allow my Yaga to do a few more debuff, which is nice. And then for Junpei, this is the one I picked because of this passive effect, which actually increases 10 curse energy technique to the whole ally. And this one is not actually going to be reduced because once again, if you actually read the small print on this effect, you'll see that the effect that did not specify an upper limit on the number of turns or times are excluded from this reduction. And obviously this one doesn't specify any kind of turns or number of times, and therefore this is actually a permanent one and unaffected by the handicap you'll be picking. Okay, so that's kind of the choice of all of the recollections. And to just finish off, those are all of the skill levels. The main thing you kind of really need is Junpei to have his SP potential unlocked. Okay.